Welcome to BookTube English. Let's improve our English while exploring the most widely read books in the world. This channel features a variety of genres: self-help, business, health, religion, and spirituality, all organized into separate playlists. Have you ever found yourself at the end of a long day, reaching for a glass of wine or a cold beer, telling yourself, "I deserve this"? Have you ever thought about how that one glass often becomes two or maybe three, and the line between relaxation and routine starts to get a little blurry? We live in a world that celebrates alcohol. It's at every party, every dinner, every holiday, every celebration. It's the go-to solution for stress, the social lubricant for awkward conversations, and the universal symbol of a good time. But have you ever had a quiet moment, maybe late at night, where you wondered, is this really serving me? Is my life actually better with it? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, even for a fleeting second, then you are in exactly the right place. Because today, we are diving into a book that has been a quiet revolution for millions of people. A book that doesn't just ask you to stop drinking, but fundamentally changes your desire to drink in the first place. Today, we are exploring This Naked Mind: Control Alcohol, Find Freedom, Discover Happiness, and Change Your Life by the incredible Annie Grace. And when I say this book has made an impact, I truly mean it. Just look at the numbers. On Amazon alone, it has over 16,000 ratings. On Goodreads, another 19,000 people have rated it, giving it a stunning average of 4.24 out of 5 stars. These aren't just numbers, my friends. This is a testament to a message that is profoundly resonating with people all over the world. This isn't just a book, it's a movement. So, what makes This Naked Mind so different from every other book about alcohol? Well, that's the magic of it. It's not about willpower, it's not about deprivation, and it's certainly not about labeling yourself or feeling ashamed. The book's description puts it perfectly. It's a groundbreaking and inspiring work that challenges our entire relationship with alcohol. It starts by acknowledging a fear that so many of us have. We resist change because we're afraid of losing the pleasure and the stress relief we think alcohol gives us. We imagine a life without it as being dull, boring, and full of misery. We picture ourselves at a party, holding a glass of water, feeling like we're missing out. But Annie Grace offers a new, positive solution. She masterfully presents the psychological and neurological components of alcohol use, all based on the latest science. She pulls back the curtain on how our brains are wired and how alcohol cleverly hijacks those wires. But she doesn't stop there. She also reveals the cultural, social, and industry factors that constantly and often invisibly support alcohol dependence in all of us. Think about it. How many movies have you seen where the successful, sophisticated character is always holding a glass of whiskey? How many ads have you seen that equate beer with friendship and good times? This book is packed with these surprising insights, these aha moments that make you see the world differently. What makes it so compelling is that it's not just a dry scientific textbook. It's woven together with Annie's own extraordinary and incredibly candid personal story. This blend of science and storytelling is what makes the book so powerful. It opens your eyes to the startling role alcohol plays in our culture and exposes how the stigma of alcoholism and recovery actually keeps people from getting the help they truly need. The ultimate promise of This Naked Mind is freedom. It's not about white-knuckling your way through sobriety. It's about removing the psychological dependence so that you simply will not crave alcohol.
It makes it easy to drink less or to stop drinking altogether because you genuinely no longer want it. It's not about missing out, it's about gaining your life back. And with Annie's signature clarity, humor, and unique approach, this book promises to open the door to the life you've been waiting for. Before we dive deeper into the core ideas of the book, let's talk about the author, because her story is just as remarkable as the book she wrote. Who is Annie Grace? Her life didn't start in a place you might expect. She grew up in a one-room log cabin in the mountains of Colorado, with no running water or electricity. This upbringing forged a resilience and a unique perspective in her. She discovered a passion for marketing, and after earning a master's degree, she dove headfirst into the corporate world. And she didn't just succeed, she soared. By the age of 26, Annie became the youngest vice president in a multinational corporation. Imagine that pressure, that level of success at such a young age. And as her career took off, so did her drinking. By age 35, she was in a global C-level marketing role responsible for operations in 28 countries. She was the picture of success on the outside. But on the inside, she was drinking almost 2 bottles of wine a night. She knew, with a growing sense of dread, that she needed to change. But she was unwilling to accept the traditional narrative of recovery. She didn't want to label herself an alcoholic. She didn't want to live a life of deprivation, constantly fighting urges and feeling like she was missing out. The stigma was too great. So, she did something extraordinary. She used her brilliant marketing mind, the same mind that excelled in the corporate world, and she applied it to her own problem. She set out to find a painless way to regain control. She spent months, years, researching the science of addiction, the psychology of cravings, the neurology of our brains, and the sociology of our drinking culture. She deconstructed the problem piece by piece, like she would deconstruct a marketing campaign. And what she discovered became the foundation for this naked mind. The result? Annie no longer drinks, and she says she has never been happier. She left her high-powered executive role to write this book and share her findings with the world. Now she lives a beautiful life with her husband and 3 children back in the mountains of Colorado, enjoying skiing, traveling, and the simple freedom she fought so hard to find. Her story is proof that change is possible and that there is another way. Now, let's get to the heart of the book. To truly understand its power, I want to share a piece of the book with you. This is an excerpt from the very beginning, and it captures the private struggle that so many people face. This is Annie Grace's voice, her experience, and it is profoundly moving. She writes, 3:33 a.m. I wake up at the same time every night. I briefly wonder if that is supposed to mean something. Probably not. Probably just a coincidence. I know what's coming, and I brace myself. The usual thoughts begin to surface. I try to piece the previous evening together, attempting to count my drinks. I count 5 glasses of wine, and then the memories grow fuzzy. I know I had a few more, but I've now lost count. I wonder how anyone can drink so much. I know I can't go on like this. I start to worry about my health, beginning the well-trodden road of fear and recrimination. What were you thinking? Don't you care about anything? Anyone? How will it feel if you end up with cancer? It will serve you right. What about the kids? Can't you stop for the kids? Or Brian? They love you. There's no good reason why, but they do. Why are you so weak, so stupid? If I can just make myself see the horror of how far I've fallen, maybe I can regain control. Next come the vows, my promises to myself to do things differently tomorrow, to fix this, promises I never keep. Just pause for a moment and let that sink in. This is the voice of the inner critic, amplified by anxiety and regret in the dead of night when all our defenses are down. It's that cycle of guilt, shame, and bargaining with yourself. It's a place many people have been, even if they'd never admit it out loud. The feeling of losing control and then beating yourself up for it, hoping that self-punishment will be the key to changing. But as she says, they are promises she never keeps, because fear and shame are not sustainable motivators for change. She continues, I'm awake for about an hour. Sometimes I cry. Other times I'm so disgusted that all I feel is anger. Lately I've been sneaking into the kitchen and drinking more, just enough to shut down my brain, fall back asleep, and stop hurting. These early mornings are the only time I'm honest with myself, admitting I drink too much and need to change. It's the worst part of my day, and it's always the same, night after night. The next day, it's as if I have amnesia. I turn back into a generally happy person. I can't reconcile my misery, so I simply ignore it. If you ask me about drinking, I'll tell you I love it. It relaxes me and makes life fun. In fact, I'll be shocked if you don't drink with me. I will wonder, why on earth not? During the day, I feel in control. I am successful and busy. The outward signs of how much I drink are practically non-existent. I am so busy that I don't leave room for honesty, questioning, and broken promises. The evening comes, the drinking starts, and the cycle continues. I am no longer in control, and the only time I am brave enough to admit it, even to myself, is alone in the dark at 3 in the morning. This is the cognitive dissonance that the book explores so brilliantly. The split between the nighttime self, who is terrified and desperate for change, and the daytime self, who minimizes the problem and champions drinking as fun and relaxing. This isn't hypocrisy, it's a defense mechanism. Our conscious mind can't handle the truth, so it buries it. And our culture helps us bury it. Our busy lives help us bury it. But the truth always comes out in the quiet moments, in the dark. And this leads to the core conflict, the fear that keeps so many people stuck. Annie writes, the implications of what it could mean are terrifying. What if I have a problem? What if I am an alcoholic? What if I am not normal? Most terrifying, what if I have to give up drinking? I worry that my pride will kill me because I have no intention of labeling myself. I am afraid of the shame and stigma. If my choice is to live a life of misery and diseased abstinence, or drink myself to an early grave, I choose the latter. Horrifying, but true. This is one of the most honest and powerful statements in the entire book. The fear of the label, the alcoholic, is so great that many would rather continue on a destructive path than face that shame. And the perceived alternative is just as bad. A life of miserable abstinence, of constantly fighting temptation, of being the odd one out. This is the false dichotomy that This Naked Mind seeks to shatter. It argues there is a third option. And here is where the shift begins. Here is the birth of the idea for this book. I want freedom. It's now clear that alcohol is taking more from me than it's giving. I want freedom in my life rather than allowing it more power over me. I want change. I have to find another way, and I have. I now have freedom. I am back in control and have regained my self-respect. I am not locked in a battle for sobriety. I drink as much as I want, whenever I want. The truth is, I no longer want to drink. I see now that alcohol is addictive, and I had become addicted. Obvious, right? Not exactly. In fact, in today's drinking society, it's not obvious at all. This is the core promise. Freedom. Not a battle, not a struggle, a simple, peaceful state of not wanting to drink anymore. And she achieves this not through willpower, but by systematically and logically dismantling every single belief we hold that makes alcohol seem desirable. She looks at alcohol nakedly for what it truly is, an addictive substance. She helps you see that the pleasure, the relaxation, the confidence, none of it actually comes from the alcohol itself. It's a trick of the mind, a powerful illusion created by brain chemistry and reinforced by a lifetime of cultural conditioning. The book is a journey of unlearning. You unlearn the idea that alcohol relieves stress. You unlearn the idea that it makes you more social. You unlearn the idea that it's a reward. And as you unlearn these things, your desire for it just evaporates. It becomes, as she says, small and irrelevant. Now, what are readers saying? The response has been overwhelmingly positive. Customers consistently call the book educational, insightful, and life-changing. Many report that it successfully weakens their subconscious desire to drink, helping them live a sober life that is actually more fun and joyful than their drinking life ever was. They appreciate how it helps them feel great and not deprived. As one reader put it, I was able to abstain easily and never once felt deprived. Another said, it was fun to read and I love all the facts. Real information makes all the difference. People find it incredibly well written and effective, with many highlighting how Annie explains the science behind cravings in an easy-to-understand way. It seems the book's greatest strength is that it doesn't just tell you not to do something, it explains why you do it, and in doing so, it sets you free. And now, let's move on to one of my favorite parts of any book review, the quotes. These are the powerful, bite-sized pieces of wisdom that stick with you long after you finish the book. I've chosen 3 quotes from This Naked Mind that I believe capture the essence of its revolutionary message. Our first quote is, "We need to bring unconscious experiences, observations, assumptions, and conclusions into conscious thought." Let's break this down. This quote is the entire methodology of This Naked Mind in a single sentence. Think of your mind like an iceberg. Your conscious mind, the part you're aware of, the part that's making decisions right now, is just the small tip of the iceberg above the water. The vast, powerful, unseen part of the iceberg underneath the surface is your unconscious mind. This is where your deep-seated beliefs, your automatic reactions, your habits, and your lifelong conditioning live. When it comes to alcohol, our unconscious mind is running the show. From a very young age, we unconsciously observe that adults drink to celebrate. We see in movies that cool, confident characters drink. We absorb marketing messages that link beer to sports and fun. We have an experience where we feel awkward at a party, have a drink, and suddenly feel more relaxed. All of these are unconscious observations and assumptions. Our brain draws a conclusion. Alcohol equals fun, relaxation, confidence. This conclusion then gets stored deep in the unconscious. So, years later, when you feel stressed, your unconscious mind, trying to help you, automatically suggests, "Hey, let's have a drink. That's what we do to relax." You aren't even aware of the complex web of past experiences that led to that suggestion. You just feel a craving. What Annie Grace argues is that willpower, which comes from the tiny conscious mind, is no match for the immense power of the unconscious mind.
You can't win a fight against the iceberg. So what's the solution? You bring unconscious experiences into conscious thought. This book is like a deep-sea submarine that takes you down to explore the massive, hidden part of your own mind. It asks you to consciously examine questions like, does alcohol actually make me more fun? Or does it just make me louder and more likely to repeat myself? Does it really relieve stress? Or does it just numb my feelings for an hour, only for them to return with a hangover the next day?
By consciously questioning these long-held unconscious beliefs with logic and science, you begin to rewrite the code. You show your unconscious mind that its old conclusions were flawed. And when the unconscious mind is convinced, the desire disappears. You no longer have to fight the craving because the craving simply isn't there anymore. It is a profound and incredibly effective approach. Now for our second quote, which builds beautifully on the first. The most thorough road to relaxation is removing the specific irritation that is causing you stress. This is such a simple yet radically transformative idea. For so many of us, alcohol is our go-to stress management tool. Bad day at work? Pour a glass of wine. Argument with your partner? Open a beer. Feeling anxious about the future? Mix a cocktail. We believe alcohol is the solution to the feeling of stress. But this quote forces us to look deeper. Alcohol doesn't solve anything. It doesn't make your boss less demanding. It doesn't resolve the argument with your partner. It doesn't pay your bills. All alcohol does is act as a numbing agent. It's like taking a powerful painkiller for a broken arm. It might stop you from feeling the pain for a little while, but the arm is still broken. And when the painkiller wears off, the pain comes back, often worse than before. And now you might also have side effects from the medication. What Annie Grace is saying here is, stop treating the symptom and start treating the cause. The thorough road to relaxation isn't found at the bottom of a bottle. It's found in identifying the specific irritation and dealing with it head on. If your job is causing you chronic stress, true relaxation might mean setting better boundaries, delegating tasks, having a difficult conversation with your manager, or even looking for a new job. If your relationship is the source of stress, true relaxation is found in honest communication, counseling, or making a tough decision. This is empowering. It shifts the focus from passively numbing yourself to actively creating a life that has fewer irritations to begin with. It suggests that real peace doesn't come from escaping your life, but from building a life you don't feel the need to escape from. Alcohol provides a temporary fake relaxation. Addressing the root cause of your stress provides a permanent, authentic calm. This reframe is a game changer because it makes you realize that by using alcohol to cope, you are actually avoiding the very actions that would lead to genuine, lasting happiness and peace. Finally, we arrive at our third quote. This one is direct, powerful, and pulls no punches. Alcohol does not relieve stress. It erases your senses and your ability to think. Alcohol ultimately erases yourself. This quote is the stark, naked truth. It directly contradicts the biggest marketing message alcohol has, that it enhances life. This quote argues the exact opposite. Let's look at the first part. It erases your senses and your ability to think. When you drink, the feeling you perceive as relaxation or loosening up is, neurologically speaking, the effect of a depressant on your central nervous system. It's slowing down your brain function. It's dulling your senses. It's impairing your judgment. You're not becoming more witty or charming. Your inhibitions are being lowered because the part of your brain responsible for self-control is being sedated. You're not feeling less stress. You're just less capable of processing your thoughts and emotions clearly. But the second part of the quote is the one that really hits home. Alcohol ultimately erases yourself. This is such a profound statement. What does it mean? It means that in the pursuit of temporary relief, we chip away at the very essence of who we are. It erases memories. Think about the 3:33 a.m. excerpt where Annie can't remember the end of her evening. That is a literal erasing of a part of her life. It erases presence. When you're buzzed or drunk, you aren't fully present with your children, your partner, or your friends. You're there physically, but your mind is clouded. You miss the subtle joke, the nuance in a conversation, the shared look of understanding. You're a muted version of yourself. Over time, it can erase your potential. The hangovers, the low energy, the brain fog the day after drinking, all of these things prevent you from being your sharpest, most creative, most motivated self. It can erase your self-respect, as we saw in the shame and guilt of the opening excerpt. And in the most tragic cases, it erases health, relationships, and even life itself. This quote is a powerful reminder that true living, true joy, comes from being more present, more aware, more yourself. Alcohol promises to add to your life, but this book makes the compelling, science-backed case that its true function is to subtract. It takes away your clarity, your memories, your presence, and ultimately yourself. In conclusion, This Naked Mind is so much more than a book about quitting drinking. It's a book about psychology, neuroscience, and cultural deprogramming. It's a book about finding freedom. It's for anyone who has ever poured a drink and felt a tiny flicker of doubt. It's for the person who drinks 2 glasses a night to unwind, and it's for the person who feels they've lost complete control. It offers a path that is not built on shame or willpower, but on knowledge and understanding. It doesn't ask you to give something up. It shows you what you stand to gain: clarity, presence, joy, and the incredible feeling of being fully in control of your own mind and your own life. It's about getting your true self back. If this video sparked your interest or made you think, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might find it helpful. Your share could be the catalyst for a positive change in someone's life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to BookTube English for more deep dives into life-changing books. We're building a community here of learners and readers, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And now, I truly want to hear from you. Have you read This Naked Mind? What was your biggest takeaway or aha moment? Or perhaps there are other books on this topic or on the subject of habit change that you would recommend to our community. Please drop your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I read every single one, and your insights make this channel so much richer. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and keep exploring.